Hello, my dear family members. I know all of you are eagerly waiting to know all coding questions asked on 26th April. But for office pressure, this becomes little problematic to upload two videos in a day. By the way, today I will discuss an advanced coding questions which is very easy. So without any delay, let's start. But before we proceed, I would recommend you to have the prime materials in which I have included all the previous year coding questions, previous year questions, and all the mock test, right? So to get that, log me at my Insta ID instagram.com/techno.uf. You will get it. Okay. So let's go to the question. So the question was regarding total cost of fruits, right? So you are given an array of arrays where each array contains the name of a fruit, the cost per unit, and the quantity of the fruit available, right? Your task is to write a function that calculates the total cost of all the fruits in the array, right? So this is very simple task, but though this was asked in advanced sections, just believe me, this is very easy task, and even this is asked in advanced section, right? So what the question is asking, that is, you are given an array of arrays in which these details are available, that is, banana is the name of fruit, then 20, which is cost per unit, and the quantity 10, right? This way the arrays are being represented, right? So your task is to calculate total cost of all the fruits, right? Even if there were many fruits, right? So you just have to multiply the cost with the quantity and add them, right? So you have to run a for loop until or unless you get into the last array, right? And you just have to calculate the total cost by multiplying the quantity and the cost per unit, right? And we have to keep adding that value until or unless we come across with the last array, right? So let's go to the solution part, right? So I hope you understood the task, right? So if you understood, then please solve the problem, because otherwise this will not be helpful if you just watch my solutions, right? So I would recommend you to please solve the problem by yourself, then come to watch. And I'm again reminding you, that is, don't try to use Python, because this is creating many problems, right? So if you want to ignore the issues, then please try C or C++ or Java, right? This will be helpful for you if you are giving TCS NQT, right? So let's go to the solution part. Okay. So what will be our approach to the solution? As the questions were not fully available, that's why I couldn't get the proper input format, but you can assume that at first the first line contains a digit which represents total number of array, right? Then inside that array, how many arrays will be there, this will be the second line input. Then the third line input can be what is the name of the banana, then what is the cost per unit, then what is the what is the quantity of that fruit, right? This way you can take the inputs, right? So I hope you understood. Okay, and the output format is just a number which represents uh, just a integer number which represents the total cost of all the fruits, right? So I hope you understood. Okay, let's solve the problem. So our approach will be like, I'm just taking, I'm not taking the user input, right? I'm just directly copying this array with sub arrays, and I'll just run a for loop. Then I'll keep going through all the elements, all the arrays. Then I'll get the cost and the quantity. Then I'll keep adding and multiplying uh, the values so that I can get total cost of all the fruits, right? So this way I will get the total cost. Okay, so let's go to the solution part. So what I'll do, let me just delete it. Okay, so I'm not taking the user input, right? Be mindful about that. Okay, so at first I'll just copy this array. So this is an string array, right? So string 2D array, let's say fruits, right? So this is the 2D array And so now we'll have to go through all the fruits and their quantity and their cost, right? So that's why I'll use enhanced for loop, right? So for loop, in enhanced for loop, in which I'll store the first array, I mean the single array at a time, right? So let's say string array, right? So string array, let's say only fruit inside fruits, right? So now, so in this fruit array, string array, at each iteration, there will be a single array will be stored, right? So in, let's say string array fruit is equal to this at first, right? And then what I'll do, I'll store the fruits quantity and fruits cost, right? So for that I'll have to create two a variable, let's say cost, right? So cost is equal to fruit, what, fruit 012, right? So this is the cost, but this is an string, right? So that's why I have to convert that into integer. So integer dot percent. So this way we are just typecasting, right? String to integer. So we have stored the cost. Sorry, this should be 1, right? So this is the per unit cost and this is the quantity, right? So let's create another variable quantity is equal to fruit 2, right? So we also need to convert that into integer because this is a string, right? Okay, so integer dot percent. Okay, so this is very simple task. Okay, nothing rocket science. So I'll now just add that value, like cost multiply quantity, and I will add that value and for each fruits, right? So for that I have to initialize total is equal to 0, right? So total plus is equal to cost multiplied quantity, right? So this way, this is similar as total is equal to total plus cost multiplied by quantity, right? So I hope you know it, even I'm writing for all, right? Okay, so now I'll just out of the for loop printing the total and I will get my result, right? So print it, system.out.print the total. Okay, so let's run it. I hope this will be okay. So let me run it. See, 536, right? So as expected, as you can see, 536. So what will be your task? That is, I have not fulfilled the code, right? And I have not applied all the specifications, right? So what will you do? That is, you just take the user inputs as per the good assumptions, right? As I have said, right? Like at the first line, the number of array, then in the second line the total number of sub arrays inside the array, then the name of the fruit, then quantity, then then cost, then quantity. This way keep taking the inputs until or unless you come across with the length, right? So then you perform this task what I have shown. I have just written the logic to solve the problem, right? I have not got full questions, right? So that's why this code may not fulfill all the test cases rightly, right? So I hope you understood. So my request to you to please do the task whatever needed, right? So I hope this much of discussion is also very much helpful to you. So if you found this video helpful, then please subscribe this channel and watch the playlist regarding TCS NQT or any company that you want. And if you want the prime materials, then knock me at my Insta ID, instagram.com/techno.uf. You will get it. And don't forget to recommend me which content do you want, right? If you want advanced quants, if you want reasoning or verbal ability, then also specify the chapters you want, right? And also if you want any other company's content, then let me know, and also specify which company's content you want, right? So I'll give importance to your recommendations. So I hope I'll see you soon. Thank you for listening.